Good afternoon. This is the March 20th, 2025 Zoning Board of Adjustment regular meeting. My name is Matt Perry. I'm chair of the board. I'll now call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to call the roll so that we may verify the presence of quorum.
Tonight we have 4 absences. Board member Callahan, Smikarova, Wang, and Johannesson. Board member Eichholz.
Here.
Granz Korsch.
Here.
Hutchins.
Here.
Ingram.
Aye.
Perry. Here.
We have 5 members present.
Let the record show we have quorum, and with that, we'll proceed to our agenda, a copy of which was posted for public access to the city's Legislative Information Management System, available at lims.minneapolismn.gov. Is there a motion to approve this agenda?
So moved.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against indicate by saying nay. And that motion passes and the agenda is approved. I believe all the board members have seen a copy of the minutes from the March 6, 2025 Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against indicate by saying nay. Any abstentions? If you were not at the last meeting, you should abstain.
Ingram abstains.
And with that, the minutes from the Zoning Board of Adjustment March 6, 2025 meeting are approved. And we will move on to the reviewing the agenda. I will read the agenda number, the address of the project, and state whether it's slated for consent, continuance, withdrawal, return, or discussion. And we have one item to discuss. It's agenda item number 4, 2807 Sunset Boulevard. Staff is recommending this item be continued until April 10th, 2025, which is one cycle, and we can discuss this more when we review requested continuances. We do not have any items on consent or discussion, so let's review the item on the agenda for continuance, which is 2807 Sunset Boulevard. Staff is requesting this item be continued to the April 10th, 2025 meeting, Zoning Board of Adjustment regular meeting. Could we get an explanation of the reason why the request is being made, please?
Chair Perry, members of the board, good evening. So the request came from the applicant. They had required a little bit more time to refine their application materials. They also were seeking to meet on site with staff. Unfortunately, that request came after the notices had been put out for this meeting. Given that request for continuation, staff saw no reason to not allow that additional time for them to, again, refine those materials. And again, this will come before you next month at the next meeting.
Okay. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm curious to note, though, will the neighbors know about this? Because I know there's a posting on this. Does this get updated with a Post-it note or something?
To my knowledge, the hearing is it's noticed the one time for this meeting, and then anyone that is involved in following this would need to essentially watch this meeting and then see that it has been continued. The other thing I'll note is that on the agenda for this meeting, it has been noted that it's recommended for continuation, but we do not have a second notice that goes out after the fact.
Any other questions of staff? All right, thank you. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of continuing this item? I see no one. Is there anyone here who would like to speak against continuing this item? Is there any board comment? Is there a motion to continue the land use request for 2807 Sunset Boulevard to our April 10th, 2025 meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second? It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against indicate by saying nay. Any abstentions? And that motion passes, so the land use application for 2807 Sunset Boulevard will be continued to our April 10th, 2025 Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting. And that concludes our land use request. We do have, I'm going to say it's old business since it did come up at our last meeting, which is to receive and file the 2024 BOA annual report. Does anybody have any comments on the report? Do you? Yes, please. And thank you.
First off, thanks. I found it really enlightening in a number of pieces. The most thing that struck me was on page 5, which the pages weren't numbered, but that we've gone down from, in 2020, of 124 to 58 in 2020. Excuse me, we've gone from 324 in 2020 to only 58 in 2024. And I guess I'm just interested, this really is excellent in the sense that either applicants are obeying the rules and regulations, which is really wonderful, or else our planning staff is doing just a great job of making sure that those things are addressed beforehand so that adjustments are not needed. I know you're the only planner here, but, do you want to take a stab at that, or can you I'm actually saying kudos to planning because I think something's positive about not having people do variances on a regular basis? Or is it simply because we have a number of developers who did apartment buildings that were consistently coming forth with variations on setbacks and heights and things like that? So I'm just curious what you might think it is, and I just say kudos for having it be reduced.
Absolutely. Chair Perry, Councilmember Grants, of course, I am happy to accept the kudos, and we'll pass it along to the rest of our staff here on the zoning administration team. I think one of the things that I would point out in terms of that drop from 2020 to today, we did have some changes to the zoning code in terms of the land use requirements specifically for multifamily, in terms of trying to reduce that the amount of variances that are specifically our land use design and preservation team we're also seeing. So there might be some of that where the code has changed to just allow a little bit more flexibility for these property owners. Otherwise, I don't want to speculate too much. I do agree in general, it seems like there's been a drop, that people are finding more ways to find, improvements to their homes without needing that variance, which is always a net positive in staff size.
Anything else?
Yeah, the other comment I would just make is that I want to point out to anybody who might be looking at this that it appears that the third ward is far too gracious in our attendance here. But the reality is that the third ward 2 and 3 and 4 years ago was hit time and time again with a number of major development projects that kept on pushing the boundaries on site limits, and so I think that was probably, I'm just speaking for myself, but that's one of the reasons why I got on the board. I can't speak for Derek or Anna, but I was concerned that I'm hoping that I don't want to knock myself out of the committee, but I do think it's important that we get some equal participation from the ward. And so I think anytime we can, like I noticed that we do have somebody from the second ward and the 13th ward. Those are great because they were the two highest, 15 and 10. But the 7th ward, Kate Cashman's area, the 12th ward, we do have ones. Well, no, yeah. So I just want to make sure that that it's something that as you seek, you might check with the local city council people to get people on the board to reflect more of the diversity that's going on here.
And I think I can speak to that since I said in the interview process, is that when we have openings, we ask the council people where there might be a need for geographic diversity to please put the word out. And so I think you're seeing some of that with Ward 3. And it certainly, I think there's some opportunity here for some of the other wards. Yep. One other thing I would just like to mention is Board Member Wang. I'm not sure her ward, she's properly listed. So if that could just be checked into.
Absolutely.
It might be fine, but it might need to be tweaked.
Absolutely, yeah, I can pass along that. And I will also say, Chair Perry, rest of the board, if you have any comments, questions, things you'd like to see in next year's report, we obviously encourage you all to reach out to Mr. Ellis or, another member of the staff. Happy to include any of those suggestions you all may have.
So with that said, I would entertain a motion to receive and file this report.
So moved.
It's moved and seconded, and I think we can just do a voice vote on this. So all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against indicate by saying nay. And that passes. So we have our annual report. Our next meeting is April 10th, 2025, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.